Today's morning thought is about givers and takers. I was just rewatching Adam Grant's TED Talk, Are You a Giver or a Taker? And it's interesting because I think most people like to think of themselves as givers. And it's a good question to ask yourself. It's like, do I tend to give more than I take? Do I help other people? Do I go out of my way to make other people succeed? Or am I a taker? Do I tend to ask people for favors? Do I tend to ask for help more than I give it? He had an interesting test, and it was ask someone, how many people have you helped succeed in their careers? How many people have you helped? And it isn't that someone says, oh, I've helped people or I haven't helped people. It's that takers tend to list people who are more senior than them. They tend to manage up. So they'll mention past bosses and executives and so forth. And that's because they tend to kiss up and kick down. And you can watch their behavior, how they treat people. Do they treat people decently that can do nothing for them? Or do they only act nice to people who can help them or do them favors? And that's a taker. So I know a lot of people like to think, well, I'm not that. I'm not a self-centered taker. But I can tell you, I've encountered quite a few of those people in the last 5, 6 years of my career in running this business. And one easy test is I have a complimentary call. And that's a free call that I offer. It's like 20 minutes. Sometimes it runs a little longer, where I try to help somebody with a career related issue, job related issue, whatever it might be, something they're struggling with. I try to help them as much as possible for free. And we actually get a lot done in 20 minutes, believe it or not. And that's it. There's no hard sales pitch. I don't try to like push people into signing up with me and getting my coaching. I just help them as much as I can. And I've had lots of calls, hundreds of calls. What's interesting is that everyone knows the purpose of this is to give a free call. It's on the house, it's complimentary. And if you want to continue talking with me and working with me, then you can book a call with me or you can schedule coaching with me. You can set up a subscription to my Career Accelerator, whatever it might be. But I've had a few people over the years who keep coming back and back and back for the free call. And it's like they're basically they're a taker. They're trying to use me to get as much free career advice as they possibly can. And it's clearly valuable. Why are they keep coming back? So unfortunately, I had to stop being 100% giver, and I had to set up a system that said, sorry, you've already booked your complimentary call. You can't keep scheduling more calls. And so it blocks their email address. I'm sorry about that. But having nothing but takers in my business doesn't help me put food on the table. I've got I got to make money doing what I do. So givers, unfortunately, don't tend to do as well in their careers. They tend to make less money than takers. People tend to see them as pushovers and less influential and less powerful. They tend to be victims of crime, sadly. And that's because the givers are so busy helping other people, and they tested this with engineers. They're so busy helping other people, like doing code reviews and answering problems, that they don't get their own work done. They're not looking out for themselves. And so givers tend to be at the bottom of the career ladder. They don't do very well, which is really sad. You might think that takers are the ones that rise all the way to the top, but they don't. Takers kind of bottom out in the middle of the career ladder. And that's because after a while, the strategy doesn't work. People recognize it. People talk. We all talk. It's a small industry. We're like, yeah, that guy. He will use you. He will take everything you have and he'll stab you in the back. Or there'll be no reciprocity. You'll help him, but he'll never help you. And so people learn, givers stop giving. In a organization, when the takers abuse the givers just shut down and they stop giving. And it actually makes the organization less successful because givers in an organization elevate the whole group. They really do. So takers don't climb to the top. The people that do tend to be the people that are considered to be matchers. This is what Adam Grant defines these as: givers, takers, and matchers. And matchers are givers who expect some degree of reciprocity. So it's a little bit of give and take, tit for tat. So if they help you, they expect at some point you're going to turn around and help them. You know, you help each other. There is some reciprocity. And if there is no reciprocity, then they stop. They dial back their involvement with you. They dial back how much they give to you, and maybe they shut down entirely. So the matchers tend to do a little bit better because they're very careful about how they give and they don't damage their own success and their own career to help others. They help, but they're not going to hurt themselves to do it. There's even opportunities for givers, believe it or not, to kind of rise to the top. When that happens, it's interesting. It creates an entirely different organization. And it's one where there's open sharing and reciprocity, and takers aren't tolerated. And what's interesting is when a taker succeeds and rises to the top, you'll see a lot of people trying to knock them off their pedestal. So people, they may fear them, maybe even respect them to some degree, but they don't like them. And they're happy to see them fail. So there's a whole lot of people looking for this person to fail eventually. But when a giver, who's truly a giver, rises all the way to the top, it changes the entire culture and everybody's cheering for their success because they create an additive value. Whereas takers, when they win, someone has to lose. And I've absolutely seen that in some organizations where they viewed their winning as contingent on me losing, and trying to make me lose elevated them so they could win. Whereas a giver's like, if I can make you win, you help me and I win, we both win. It's good for both of us. There's a way to do this so that harmoniously we improve the whole organization, we improve the whole company, we make things better for everyone. So that's my thought for today. Take a look around you and see who are the givers, who are the takers, who are the matchers. If you're a giver who's constantly giving and you feel drained by this and you feel like no one appreciates you, then maybe it's time to think about how to dial that back to more of a matching contribution. Be rational about it. It's like, yeah, I'll help you, but I'm keeping my eye on how much this is reciprocated. Are you helping me too? Because if you're not, I'm going to shut it down. And if you're one of the takers out there, the clock's ticking. People know. People know who you are. And maybe you think you can climb all the way up the ladder by using people and kissing up and kicking down, but it's going to catch up with you eventually. So you might want to take a long, hard look in the mirror and try to understand why you're doing this and try to change your behavior while you can.